£1 notes. These Australian banknotes are really cool. So pre-decimal currency. And this book here is going to identify for us the different styles that were produced over the years in Australia and the values that they can sell for to collectors, or estimated values anyway. So the Renix Australian Coin and Banknote Values book here. And we'll turn to the start of the £1 banknotes. So here we go. They started in Australia 1914 to 1915, these ones right here. And it looks like these ones are South Australia. So maybe South Australia led the charge on the £1 banknotes right there. And these are the values up here. So in perfect condition, 160,000, 165,000. Even in this condition right here, 17,250. So if you've got one of those, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. But back a few pages in the book, a bit earlier on, it has the condition grading sort of guide. Just try and find the right page. It'll be this one right about here. So here has all the signatures that you see on the banknotes. It has a glossary of some terms there. Talks about the pricing right there. Must be over this side here. This is the banknote condition grading. So read the definitions to determine what grade your banknotes are. And these are the portrait identification guide pre-decimal. So these are the portraits of the individuals who appear on these banknotes. So not one of those portraits right there, but this is the South Australian one. Let's go on to the next one. 1914 to 1915 £1 emergency issue. Ooh, okay. Probably to do with the First World War. Maybe they need to get some notes in the currency. I need to probably read that to find out. Let's have a read of it. So the second type of emergency issue, dubbed the Rainbow Pound, was printed from a new design, but the quality of the design and the printing made it easy to forge and was withdrawn. A total of 32 notes are known to have survived in 20A, the best in uncirculated condition, and 25 notes in 20B, the best in GVF condition. So the 20A is this here, and the 20B is this here. All right, so yep, high values again. Yep, because there's not many of those around. It does look a little bit rainbowish, I suppose, but yep, highly forged, sounds like it. And then we've got 1918 to 1923. The £1 banknotes looked like this in Australia. Look pretty cool. And these are the values up here. This is the other side of the note. We'll come over here and I'll show you a couple of my £1 banknotes at the end. But 23 to 26, the £1 banknote moved to this design right here. And then we're over the page, 26 to 33. They're looking like this. And so many different values because they produced them on different years. And the conditions, there's first prefix and last prefix, which means first prefix is the first run of that lot of notes. So not as many of those, the values are usually higher. And last prefix, the same thing, the last run of those banknotes. So these are all the different values depending on which banknote it is that you've got. But yeah, that's those banknotes right there. Then on to 1933 to 1938. Is that the same over here? No, it's still just the design sort of changed within those years too. So that's what the note moved to right there. And then 38 to 53. So down here, I've got a couple of these too, and it says here, dark green back or light green back. And I've got a couple of notes, one's light green and one's dark green, so I can check out that in just a moment too. 53 to 66, this is the last design before we moved across to decimal currency and the $1 notes, $2 notes, and $5 notes, and so on, but from 1966 onwards. All right, and that, yep, lots of different values again, and then moving on to the £5 notes. So we'll grab my little, this is the first one I've got from my folder. I've taken this one out of my folder, so this is what it looks like right here. And then I'll grab my banknote folder here. Maybe I'll just try and zoom out a little bit. Now this one is actually the one that I've taken out of the folder that goes here. So this is a 1952 £1 banknote. And then this one here is a 1942 £1 banknote. And then same again here, 1942. So the same year, and you can see the difference in the colour. So this is the dark green, and this is the light green that the book was referring to there. So quite distinctive. Look like totally different years, I suppose. But yeah, just probably different colour in the printing, I suppose. And then I've got the condition of this one's pretty rough, but I'll take them in any condition. 1938 £1 banknote. And then the 1961 £1 banknote here. So the latest one before they moved across to decimal currency in the banknotes. So yes, any of the pre-decimal banknotes. And then yeah, in my folder here I've got some £5 banknotes. I'll do a bit of a video on those at another time too. But yes, the £1 banknotes, and places to pick these sorts of notes up. People might sell them on eBay. You've got coin dealers that would probably sell banknotes like these too. There's auction sites around the country that have auctions every now and then. There's lots of different auction sites. There's probably Facebook groups that people might trade amongst themselves with banknotes like this. But super, super cool. I think it's a nice little slice of Australian history, and yeah, a fair bit of value there. But yeah, you have to fork out a bit of value to get them. But I think that's super cool. I like to have a bit of a representation of something if I can afford it, and have them in my folder. So yes, obviously you can see from that book, the Ranks Australian Coin and Banknote Values book, there's lots that I don't have of those £1 banknotes, and yeah, the values are very, very high. So that's probably the reason. But if you can, or if I can, I like to try and pick them up. And yeah, you might be interested too. So there you go, £1 Australian banknotes. Cool.